What's up, guys? Chris here with the Sim Gaming. I wanted to talk today about the Corsair build kits. I believe they have five of them. I'll put a little clip up, but I think there's five different build kits ranging from, kind of like an entry-level PC all the way up to their Pro Elite, whatever it is, blah blah blah. I got the second to highest level build kit. I think it was called the Elite Pro. It's about $3,000. And just a side note, and I'm not going to talk much about it, but I did use the Klarna financing, which made it kind of nice. It was like $130 a month for the next, 2 years or whatever. I'll probably pay it off way before that, because there's no penalty. But it was nice because I can just make monthly payments, but I could go ahead and build the PC now, which was really cool. So just before I say, my thoughts on the build kit itself, just a little background. I have never built a PC before. I've never really been into PC gaming. I do it a little bit. I have an older PC, a Rogue. I don't even remember what it is. It's got a 2080 Ti in it, but I just bought it out of the box, pre-built from like Best Buy or something like that. And it served me really well, but I wanted to build something that was close to high end. Not the most expensive, most high end piece of machinery, but something that was high end that was going to handle any game that comes out in the next couple years, and then something I could even update as time goes on. And so I came across these build kits, and I was really apprehensive to start a build because the parts are very expensive, and I didn't want to mess something up and have to replace a part. And it's one thing, you're already investing quite a bit of money into a PC build, and then if you mess something up and you have to replace a part, that can easily start to skyrocket your prices and your costs. And I really just didn't want it. I was a little apprehensive about it. And I come from console gaming primarily, so I'm used to spending, $500, maybe $600, on a console with some games or whatever, with a couple controllers. To go from that to spending, $3,000, and I know you can easily spend much more than that. It's a little daunting, but I have to say the Corsair kit itself, and Corsair, the instructions and all that were really top notch. I would say, if I was to give it a score, I would say that the build kit is like a 9 out of 10. And, just to be clear, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just, I just thought I'd put this out here because I thought it was a really good product. And so, basically, the main thing I wanted to point out is that number one, everything was packaged really well. I didn't have any damaged, pieces of equipment and none of the parts. They give you a nice little list. You can kind of see in the background here. That's this big sort of black thing that I have the case sitting on. It gives you a rundown of everything you should have in the box, which you can check off, a little checklist. Everything was packaged really well. I didn't have any issues there. The case was perfect. I didn't have any, there's glass. There's a lot of glass, and it was 100% perfect condition. All the parts were perfectly packaged. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. The instructions themselves were very good. I would say they could use a little bit of improvement, only because you got to remember these kits are designed for people, like me, that just have never done anything with a PC. So it's supposed to be, they build it as kind of foolproof where you're not going to really have any questions. You just follow the directions. You'll be able to do it no problem. And that's true for about 95% of it. But there were a couple of things, like, for example, here in a second you're going to see me installing the motherboard into the case. And they say, to use the motherboard screws to install it to the case. Well, it came with a lot of different screws, and none of them are labeled. So I wasn't really sure which one the motherboard screws were. So I did so I just kind of guessed and checked and figured it out. So it's not really a big deal. But, that's something that, if they are looking for any room for improvement, they could label the hardware a little bit better, particularly which screws go to what, because many of us don't know what motherboard screws are. That was really my only complaint. I did think there were a couple of times. So one other thing that I did notice was when I put the fans in, specifically the ones that are on top of the case, the very top of the case pointing up. When you go to plug them in, which unfortunately I wasn't able to get video of me plugging all the cords in, which was probably the most difficult part of the actual build itself. One of the issues was, it said you need to plug the fans in order. Well, it doesn't really specify what that means, and there's no labeling. So that's another area where I think they could probably make that a little bit more clear. I counted from front to back, and I think that that's correct, and it seems to be running fine. But at first, I thought back to front, just for whatever reason. Like I didn't have a specific reasoning. I just thought, okay, well, I'll go from back to front, no big deal. And then I ended up going front to back because I thought the length of the cords were not really long enough to make it make sense for it to go from back to front. So then I went front to back, and like I said, I think that's correct, but I don't really know if it's correct. I mean, everything's running smoothly, so I assume it's correct. But anyway, they could make it more clear in the instructions, and I think that would be more helpful for people that are trying to get into it like me. Other than those two very minor things, I thought the instructions were well done. It was nice to have video instructions so you could actually see them doing it, and also written instructions, which had a little bit more detail. I think only maybe once or twice I actually Googled it, or Googled something to see what was going on, because the instructions didn't really show what I needed to see. But again, that's probably just me. But all in all, I thought it was really good. Definitely worth checking out. I think for the price of the product, you're able to save a little bit of money on a build. And it just really made it very easy to get into PC building. So I was really happy with the build. And, well, here's me just playing a little New World on it. Oh, I guess I'll leave it on. But again, I was really happy with the build. I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. It was really well done. I was really happy with it, and I will probably in the future, if I do have to build an entire kit from scratch, which eventually I probably will in the future, hopefully they'll continue to do it, because I do think that it really makes things easy. And you could pick your part. You go to like PC Part Picker, and you could pick all your parts, and that'll help you, so you don't have to worry about any type of compatibility issues or anything like that. But the build kit really takes all that out of it. And unless you really are hunting for deals, which certainly at the price of PC gaming I can understand, then using the build kit I think makes the most sense. And I thought their prices were pretty good. I mean, I put all the parts in PC Part Builder, and honestly, it seemed to be more expensive. So I'm not really sure exactly how Corsair does it. Probably because you're using their parts, so the markup probably isn't as high. There aren't any third parties involved, so I think you probably are able to save a little bit of money there. But ultimately, I didn't think price wise it was really much benefit in buying the parts individually. I will say that originally I had bought one of the other packages, and I had some problems with their customer service. It wasn't really their fault. It was more related to the financing through Klarna. I guess that's how you say it. There was just a disconnect there, and there was a couple of weeks where I was kind of in limbo. I didn't know if I was, what was happening. I had canceled the order because I wanted to order the Elite Pro, and I had originally bought, I don't even remember. I had originally bought, I think the one with the 3080 Ti, and I wanted to, what is going on here? Let me pause this real quick. I think because it's not playing it at normal speed. So I'd originally bought the 3080 Ti version, and and then that day I saw that they had the 4080 version available, and it was for pre-order at the time. But I wanted to get that one instead. I thought that was better, because the one thing I was hoping for with the build when I first pre-ordered it was I really had wished there was a 4080 Ti, because I didn't want to go 4090, but I would have definitely gone 4080, but they didn't have it available at the time. So I was like, well, I'll do the 3070 Ti, because I don't want to go to the 3090. They're just too expensive. But then that day they came out with the Elite Pro with the 4080, and I was like, absolutely, that's perfect. Another thing was it was a jump from an i7 to an i9, which I really wanted to do as well. And I just had some issues getting that canceled, not on Corsair's end necessarily, but when I did reach out to their customer service, I wasn't really impressed with the way they responded. So that's just one thing, I guess, to consider, but that's also an individual case, and it was dealing with a third party in Klarna. So, I mean, that could have easily been part of it. But I did want to mention that just because I wasn't really impressed with the way their customer service reacted to my situation. And if I do need to work with customer service in the future, hopefully it'll be better. But at any rate, I wouldn't really make my decision based off that. But all in all, the build was really great. I was really happy with it, and if you're looking to build, I would definitely consider that option. You know, going through PC Part Picker, that's also a great way. I know a lot of people like to do that, but the Corsair kit really took a lot of the guesswork out, and I was just really pleased with it. So I thought I would share my thoughts, and hopefully this helps some people out that are thinking about buying a PC. And if not, you know, thanks for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon. Peace.